For years, man has strived to make the perfect video game soundtrack, and many times they have gotten close. Decades went by, and while there were so many valiant attempts, so many barely missed the mark of perfection. But in 2019, with the release of Yoshi's Crafted World, they had finally done it. They had achieved perfection. Yoshi's Crafted World. Released in March of 2019, this game acted as a sort of spiritual successor to Yoshi's Woolly World that was released back on the Wii U. This game takes the wool aesthetic from Woolly World and added all kinds of new materials, like cardboard and plastic and felt, I think. You see, when this game came out, I got it, I played it, I liked it, and then I just kind of forgot about it. Could this be because the game just wasn't that good and had nothing notable or memorable about it? Or could it be because I was busy doing other things in 2019, like going outside or playing that Mario and Luigi remake that bankrupted a whole company? And that's the question that I will be answering today. So let's not delay it any longer and talk about felt. The game starts off with the Yoshis. They have a rock. This makes them happy. One day, Kamek and Baby Bowser decide that they want the rock, which is called the Sun Dream Stone. They try to take it from the Yoshis, but this causes the gems inside of it to go flying across the world, rendering the Sun Dream Stone powerless and sad. Then you choose a Yoshi and go on your way. This game controls like your typical Yoshi game. You have the flutter jump, you can eat enemies, and you can throw Yoshi's iconic eggs. In this game, you have full control of aiming the egg, unlike in the original Yoshi's Island. This makes sense for this game because the game heavily encourages you to throw eggs at items in the background and foreground. In this game, you can find flowers located throughout the levels. You can find these by completing timed challenges or finding them hidden around the level. There are also extra objectives like beating the level with full health, getting all of the hidden red coins, and getting 100 coins that also give you more flowers. These objectives on their own give you plenty to do and are really fun to go for. The levels themselves are very well designed and do a great job of hiding all the collectibles throughout them. Every single level is filled to the brim with random items hidden throughout them that you can hit with your eggs. The majority of the time, these just have regular coins hidden inside of them and aren't really anything you need to worry about. But occasionally, you may notice an enemy or some kind of item poking out from behind. That is one aspect I find very interesting about this game. If you want to get everything there is to get in this game, you don't only want to pay attention to the level itself, but also the backgrounds, the foregrounds, and any of the secret passages that might be available. This requires you to do a lot of thinking to find any of the collectibles you would want to go for, and I think that this is a great way of separating it from many of the 2D platformers on the system. But obviously, if you don't want to go for everything, you don't have to. You only need a very small fraction of what you can get to progress in the game. But you see, the extra objectives that feature in the main level are a very small fraction of the different objectives you can do to get more flowers. One of the first major ones is looking for souvenirs. You see, these little cardboard guys will occasionally ask you for a souvenir from one of the levels. It is then your job to go and find that item, hit it with your egg, and return back to the little guy so they can give you your reward. And then ask you for something else. You see, that is kind of my main problem with this. A lot of the time, they will ask you for multiple things from the same level, meaning that you have to go to the level, play it until you get the item, go back, get flowers, go back to the stage, and do it all again until you have everything they want. This isn't the worst thing ever, but I think it just would have been nice for them to add a feature where you just got like a shopping list for each level, making it easier to get all of the stuff for these guys. But if you don't want to do that, there are also certain levels that contain the Poochie Pups. This objective allows you to play the level backwards with a flip perspective while also searching for the pups. This one is better than the souvenirs, but still not really anything all too crazy. Neither of these extra options are required. I only played them once or twice to get a feel for them. But after that, I never really needed them to get any more flowers to progress in the game. These are simply just there for people who want more to do. But to me, these extra objectives seem like they could get very tedious, so I don't really think I would recommend going for 100%. On top of all of the stuff you can do in these levels, they are very well designed. Everything is made to fit around Yoshi's slower movement, causing this game to be focused on slow platforming that may require you to stop and think for a second. Some levels I would even say have some puzzle elements to them. A lot of these levels have fun gimmicks that stand out and help you remember the level, as a lot of the gimmicks appear in one level and then never again. This helps the game stay fresh, as it is always presenting you new ideas and never lingers too long on any of them. And then we have the level theming itself, which is absolutely amazing. The game is constantly switching up the places you visit and never lets a single theme linger for too long. You go from a ninja-themed tower to space and then to a really bad part of town. The game has so many ideas and places it wants to show you, and it is so fun to see what it has to offer every time you start a level. And I haven't even mentioned the main thing about this game. You know, the whole part of the title that says Crafted World? This game looks amazing. It goes for a look where everything you see is made of arts and crafts materials and looks like it could have actually been made. I also love the attention to detail with small things like floating platforms. They don't just float, you can see the string holding it in place. We have this whole level where you attach magnets to parts of the level made of metal. The only thing I didn't really like about this art style is that all of the main characters, including the Yoshis, don't really look like they were made out of crafts. They just have this weird fuzz texture on them, and I'm not sure that I like it. I get that it is supposed to be felt or something, but I am just really not that big of a fan of Yoshi being fuzzy. In all honesty, I think that they could have just let the characters be made out of wool like they were in Woolly World, because it would have fit in with everything else, since there are parts of the game with yarn and wool in it. So far, I have really enjoyed most parts of this game, but there's one problem though. There's this weird glitch where if you turn up the game volume, your ears start to bleed for some reason. I get what the game is going for. I really do. The game is made of arts and crafts, which kids do, so to go with this, they tried to add a very childlike soundtrack. But I think they forgot the difference between childlike and letting children make the music. And look, not all of the music is really that bad. It's just that the bad ones really stand out and take up a majority of the soundtrack, and the game uses the same motif for like 90% of the songs, and it can get really tiring when you're trying to marathon this game for a video you have to get out in a few days. So forgetting the soundtrack, we also have levels that change up your goal or moveset. In one of these, you pilot a giant Yoshi robot and have to destroy anything in your way. In another one, you're flying a plane, and in one of them, you're trying to jump through as many hoops as possible. These levels appear every so often and help change things up a little and give you something else to do, which can be nice to have every once in a while. Finally, we have the bosses, and these are pretty fun. Occasionally, we get mini bosses in some stages, and these usually offer a good time and act as a fun surprise whenever they pop up. The main bosses usually aren't very difficult, and once you figure out the method of defeating them, they go out very fast. But just like the rest of the game, the bosses are made out of fun, real-life materials, so they're always cool to look at. Also, whenever the bosses are formed by Kamek, the cutscene lowers the frame rate so it looks like stop motion. I wonder why I like that. So after finally making it to the final gem, the Yoshis go to put it in the Sun Dream Stone, when suddenly Kamek and Baby Bowser ambush them and steal the stone with all of the gems inside of it. Baby Bowser then wishes for a giant robot and the final boss begins. The first phase of this fight is pretty fun and has a lot more interesting stuff going on than most of the other bosses did. After defeating the robot in a last-ditch effort for victory, Kamek uses the stone to power up Baby Bowser, beginning the next phase. In this one, you take Baby Bowser's hammer by throwing your eggs at it, and then use them against him to deal some pretty harsh blows. Come on, Yoshi, they're a baby, they still have a soft skull. After defeating Bowser, the Yoshis get the Sun Dream Stone back, build a boat, and head back home. Wait, I forgot to talk about the costumes. You can win the costumes from this machine, and they make the game easier, so I didn't use them. Yoshi's Crafted World is a game that I really didn't expect to have as much fun with as I did, considering I completely forgot about it for a few years. But the game surprised me and offered a really fun time with tons of cool ideas and gimmicks to keep me engaged the whole way through. Just, keep that OST away from me. It sounds like a third grade music class.